Hey guys, welcome back. You see my hat here. Green Bay Packers, they clinched number one seed in the NFC yesterday. They get a bye week next week in the playoffs, and they get home field advantage. This is humongous for me. If you know me at all, if you've been following me for any amount of time at all, you know that I'm a huge Packer fan. I consider Wisconsin home, even though we grew up sort of around the whole Midwest, Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, but I consider Wisconsin home, and they are definitely my team. And so I'm very excited. And actually, this whole weekend was a great football weekend for me. I'm a big football fan. I come from a football family. My dad played, my brother played in high school. And so we just sort of adapted to football life, I guess. I actually like to watch sports. I don't play sports at all. I was not gifted in the athletic department even a little bit, outside of, walking around my neighborhood and lifting the occasional weight. That's about as athletic as it gets for me, which is okay. I'm okay with that. I love to watch, though. And football is my favorite sport to watch. I try watching other sports, but some you might as well just hand me a melatonin and a blanket and, leave me alone because they'll put me right to sleep. But football I love. I understand it. I get it. It's fast moving. So, but anyway, I am a Packer fan because I was raised in Wisconsin. But my college team is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, Chris and I spent 6 years in Ohio in the late 90s and early 2000s. And so I just really adopted Ohio State as my team. I'm going to change my hat now because with as much as I love the Packers, I don't need to root for them for another week, whereas the Ohio State Buckeyes have got their national championship game coming up on Monday night against Alabama. So that's exciting. And so we're going to be watching that and cheering on the Buckeyes. But the whole reason I'm talking about football today is to kind of talk about fandom, if you will. Or fanaticism. Maybe that's a better word. I don't know. But I think one of the reasons I adopted, I should say, the Buckeyes as my college team is because Ohio fans it's different in Ohio. It's almost like Ohio is a really big, small town, the whole state. And once they find their team, they're extremely loyal to it, no matter how stinky they are, no matter which sport it is. I noticed it in the late 90s with the Cleveland Indians. Now the Cleveland Indians were good at that time. And so it was fun to watch and all of that. But I said the Cleveland Cavaliers, on the other hand, is a different story. My boss that I worked for had season passes when we lived there. It was the late 90s. And so Chris and I would go to watch the Cavs play, keeping in mind LeBron James was still in high school, maybe even junior high at that time. Oh, man, he was young. So he did not play for the Cavs yet. So it was the lean years, But it's, people would still show up. The Browns, another story, although they're in the playoffs this year, too, first time since 2002. So that's exciting. But what I noticed about Ohioans is that, they are true blue. They are loyal to their sports teams. And it's one of those situations where they can talk trash and say whatever they want about their own team. But when the outsider comes in and starts talking trash, they're like, whoa, wait a minute. It's like, I can talk about my sister that way. I can talk about my cousin like that, but you can't. And that's sort of how the Ohio fans are. And I think that I like that. And so I became a Ohio State fan. So it's a good time. It's a great time to be an Ohio State fan. It's a great time to be a Packer fan. The beginning of 2021 has been really a cool start to this year so far. But when you think about being a fan, you think about, you put a lot of time and energy into the team that you love. You learn stats and you learn players and you learn the history and you learn the sport and the game and how they play it. And you think that you can sit there and make the calls every Sunday, that you sit there on your couch and you're like, oh, I totally wouldn't have done that. What are you thinking? Like we know, like we're sitting there on the sidelines, but we're not, but we take on the team as our own. And I love that. And I just have to wonder, going to 2021, what would we change in our culture today if we started becoming fans, of each other. If we started looking at our neighbors and being like, you know what, I'm pulling for you today. I want to see you win today. Or we start, looking at our kids as they are going back to school. My kids went back to school today. So you know what, kids, I am pulling for you. You're going to be amazing. You're going to do great things. And just what it would do to change the countenance of people. What would it do to change, how they feel about themselves, if they know that there are people in this world that are cheering them on. So just a thought today as we, it's the first Monday of 2021. As we kind of get into this year and we all start thinking about what this year is going to look like for each of us. And, I pick winners, as you can tell. But what are you going to decide, is going to be your mark on this year? I hope that when it comes to other people, it's going to be obvious that you're for them, that you're a fan, that you want to see them succeed and win. Nobody looks good making other people look bad. That's never a good look. So as we get into 2021, just kind of think about who you can come alongside and cheer on and lift up. So, all right, that's all I got. Make sure you're rooting for my Buckeyes on Monday night. The Packers have a bye week. Whoop. So I have a week off. I only have to be stressed about one game this weekend, so that'll be nice. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.